Shall we begin?
Let's begin now.
Okay, everybody. Hi, it's Doreen, and I'm back. You should have gone ahead and cut out all of your card and your embellishments using the measurements that I gave in the previous video. And once again, we will be using the following cartridges. We are going to be using the Elegant Edges, the Straight from the Nest cartridge, and let's see, the Art Philosophy. So I'm not going to give measurements this time because the measurements were given in the previous video. So if you go back and watch that video, you can get all the measurements for everything. This is just a card that I've made for my sister-in-law, and I've gone through how I go about designing my cards using my Gypsy. So I'm going to go ahead and bring up my supplies. So once you went ahead and cut out your card, it should look like this. And you will have those two little holes there. I didn't think about that once I had designed it and went ahead and cut it. But that'll be okay. So what I've done now is I've went ahead and folded it in half and creased it down. I think I'm going to use this side here, because I kind of ripped the paper on the other side. But then again, I did ink my edges on this side, so we'll just use this side. And I've inked the edges using the Tim Holtz Distress Ink, the tea dye. So let's put our next layer on, which is this layer right here. And I've cut this out in some of the cardstock that I had that they were giving or throwing away at work. So it's just some plain cardstock. The orange cardstock is some Coordinations cardstock. So I'm going to start by laying everything out before I start actually taping everything down. So that's our next layer. And then our final and top layer looks like this, and that will be going right there. So now that I've laid it all out, and I know that's how I want it, we're going to take some of the HEG gun and get some tape on the back of here, and we're going to start taping everything down. So I'm just going to go around, and actually I think I'm going to use the Tombow for this because it's smaller and I can get around this circle. So I'm just going to get some all along here, and then we'll lay this down. And we're going to lay it like so, and then just go all the way around. So now for my top layer, I think what I want to do is I really want that to pop up. So I'm going to take some dimensionals and put them on the back of here, and we're going to pop this up. So I'm going to move this to the side for a minute, and we'll add our dimensionals. I'm going to put one in each area here. And you don't have to do this if you don't want with your card. You can go ahead and just take your tape and put some tape down. But I've decided I want mine to pop up. So I'm going to take the backing off. And while I do that, I'll come back once it's all, the backing is off of everything. Okay, everybody, so I have my backing tape off of the dimensionals, and I'm now ready to add this to the card. So I think I'm going to go ahead and open it out for just a second so I can get it on there even, and then we'll close the card back up again. So we'll line this up and then just press down like so, and there we have it. So now, before I start putting on the rest of my embellishments, because they're going to be popped up, I think I'm going to add my inside sentiment. Except I don't think we have to, because my inside sentiment will be going that way, and I can worry about that being popped up. That's okay. We can finish up adding the rest of the embellishments to the top, or the top of the card, or the front of the card, I'm sorry. So, one thing that I did do, I did go back and cut out this little flourish, and this is in the Art Philosophy cartridge, and I didn't show that earlier when we were putting the card together, but I decided I wanted to add that at the last minute. So that is in the Art Philosophy cartridge, and it is on page 50, and it is this flourish right here. So on your Gypsy, that is going to be key number, what I have here is 30. So let's quickly go to that. And I'm going to go back from my overlay, and it is, you're going to press the font layer and then key number 30. So it looks like that. And I cut that at 2 inches, just 2 inches, no aspect ratio off or anything, and it ended up coming out like this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and ink my edges on this using the tea dye, and once I've done that, I'll be back and we can finish adding the rest of the embellishments to the card. Okay, so I have my edges inked on my flourish, and it's very faint, but you can notice a little difference. So I'm going to put this right here for now and kind of angle it probably about like that. Now I want to go ahead and put my wording on. So we have the letter A, and that a little birdie told me cuts out separately. So it's not together. So that gives you some wiggle room to figure out how you want to lay it on your card. So I now need my word little. And I gotta, oh, here it is. So I'm going to place that right here. And then I'm going to put the birdie, but we need to bring this up a little bit. So what I'm going to do is just push this up to here and move my A and little right there. And then we'll put the word told right here. And then we can take and add the word me down here in the corner. And what I've done is I've gone ahead and put some bling here on my word me. So now it looks like I'm ready to add everything to the card. So now that we have the basics of the card laid out, I'm going to go ahead and add my letters or my wording and my flourish and adhere them down to the card. So what I've done is I've gone ahead and popped up my letters. And this time I use some of this adhesive double-sided stick tape that I have that is thick, so it kind of makes things pop up. And it's very thin, so it works out for my letters because my letters are so small. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the tape backing off and start adding my letters. And just press down like so. So I'm going to do that, and then we'll come back and finish adding our flourish and then our flowers. So now everybody, I have all of my words taped down to the card. Now the other thing that I want to talk about is when you cut out the layer for the little birdie, I actually found out that once I cut that out, it didn't cut the way I really wanted it to. What I really wanted was for it to cut out the circle with the birdie. And remember when we were doing it on the Gypsy, we removed this piece, this portion here of the actual frame. So what it ended up cutting out was it cut out the circle with the bird, like so. And that's kind of not what I wanted. But, you know, I always say that sometimes when you're designing, you come up with a different ideal or a different option. So what I did was, I cut off the bird away from the circle, and I just decided to pop the little bird up. I put a bling to be the eye. It looks like this. And I just decided to go ahead and take a dimensional and put it on the back, and then I'm just going to add this on top of the other bird. So it looks like so. So it still came out okay, and I did end up kind of wasting some of my cardstock, but this is that cardstock that I have an abundance of, so it wasn't too bad. So now let's take and add our flourish, and I'm going to use my two-way zip pen for this, and I'm going to go ahead and get some glue on here. So I'm just going to take, because I don't want to get this on my paper here, so I'm just going to take and go all the way around and add my glue to the flourish. And I'm not going to pop this up because I'm going to be putting the flowers that I created using the Art Philosophy cartridge on top. So I won't be popping the flourish itself up because the flowers are going to pop up when I add them using the glue gun. So let's move this out the way, and we'll bring our card back, and we'll add our flourish. And I want to make sure I can get this somewhere on here where you can still see the wording. So I'm going to kind of angle it like so. Oh, I had it where I wanted it, and the glue stuck to my fingers. And then I'll just press down. Like so. And now I have added my flourish to the card. So now we'll add our flowers. So now remember, when we laid our flowers out on our mat, I laid out 3 different sizes, or 4 different sizes. I laid out a 3-inch, a 2 3/4, a 2 1/2, and a 2-inch. So that's what each size looks like. Now, there are tutorials out there on how to put the flowers together using the Art Philosophy cartridge or using the Flower Shop cartridge. I didn't go into the details on how to do that. If someone's interested, if I get enough requests, I can go ahead and show how to put them together. But what I did was I cut them out using some just plain white cardstock, and then I took some different shades of my Glimmer Mist. I believe I used the Iridescent Gold and the Caramel color to color in the paper. And once I did both sides of that, I heat set it, and then I rolled out my flowers, and then I took and added some of my quick adhesive, and then I sprinkled some of the Fire Opal Martha Stewart glitter on there. So now we can add them to the card, and what I want to do is I just kind of laid them out here for right now because I kind of want them to go in that direction like so. So I'm going to take my glue gun, and I'm still using the latest glue gun that my husband bought for me. And as I said before, it doesn't have a name, so I don't know who this glue gun is by. But I do like the fine tip. It does leave a lot of glue strings, but it seems to be working fine for now. But like I said, they all work fine for me, and then they stop working. The other thing that I also did that I didn't mention before with my flowers is after I had Glimmer Misted them, and I had and before I put them, rolled them together, the other thing that I did was I ran them through my Cuttlebug folder, the Swiss Dots folder, just so I could do something a little different with them. So we'll add this last one, and it looks like it came. I didn't put enough glue when I was putting it together, so gotta hold it in 2 places here. So we'll just press down and hold it down like so. And I'm just going to hold that for a few seconds so it can adhere to the card as well as adhere back to the bottom of the flower. So there, now we have the front of our card. So now let's add my inside sentiment. And it looks like I lost one of my bling off the word me, so I'm going to need to add that back, but I'll do that off camera using my iRock tool. So I'm going to open up the inside of the card, and what I've done is I took the circle piece that is from this layer here. When it cut out and left a circle. And I took my stamp that is from the stamp set by Stampology. And I don't know the name. It doesn't look like it has a name on the back of here. But it looks like this. And the stamp basically says, "Sending smiles your way." And I stamped it out using the Stampin' Up! Close to Cocoa ink. So we're going to put that here in the inside of the card. But before I do that, since I have some scrap cardstock left over, I don't like for things to go to waste. I'm going to add this in the middle here across. So I'm just going to get some tape on the back of here using my ATG gun. And I'm not going to run it all the way to the end because we're going to have to cut this off once we get it on here. So just going to take it and lay it here in the middle. And then I'll flip this over, and using my X-Acto knife, I'm going to cut those edges off. So what we'll need to do is I'm going to move this paper so I don't cut the paper, and we're on my cutting mat. And I'm just going to run along here and then just taper that off. Like so. And you don't have to do this. I just had this scrap of cardstock and I thought, okay, I want to use this for something. And I wanted to go with this card. So I'm going to go ahead and put it in the inside of the card. So let me take this other side and go ahead and take that off using the X-Acto knife. And let me get in here and get a little closer this time. And go all the way around until we have it completely off. Like so. And it looks like I'm not pressing hard enough, or it could be that my blade is dull. Okay. So now you can turn it over and we have that back there. And I'm going to bring my paper back up and we're going to just add this to the card. And I'm going to use the Tombow and just get some tape across here. And then what I like to do too, because this is round, I like to just take some of the two-way Zig pen and just go all around on the edges so I can make sure that it adheres down on my edges. Like so. And I missed a couple spots there, so let me make sure I get those. Okay, so now we'll just go ahead and add this. And I'm going to bring it up and add it just a little bit up toward the top because I have one other stamp image that I want to add down below here. And it spells out happy birthday. And that is a part of that set. And I'm just going to eyeball this. So I'm going to get some, open up my Close to Cocoa ink and ink up my stamp. And then I'm also going to bring up my mat so that I have some pressure raised here. And maybe now I should have waited to add the flowers. But we're going to eyeball this and we're going to get this on here. So I'm going to line this up. And I guess I should be in camera frame too so you can see what I'm doing. And I apologize for the glare that's coming off the stamp block. But I need to make sure I get this in here. So, and then I'm going to press down. And there, I'm able to fit the happy birthday in there. So now, you know what it needs, just a little bit. So I'm going to add the bling and then I'll be back. Okay everybody, so I am back with the completed card with my bling on it. So what I ended up doing was I didn't have any bling that was the color that I wanted to put on the card. But I did have the clear ones which I use using my iRot tool. So I went ahead and adhered those down to the card, and once they were adhered, I took my Bic Market pens, and this is the fine point, and I picked these up at Target. I believe they were $19.99 for the whole set. It's 36 markers. And I took two of the colors, the Adobe Orange and the Harvest Orange, and colored in my clear markers. And because these are permanent, this won't rub off. As you can see, I'm rubbing it and it's not coming off. So I first put the Adobe Orange on first, and then since they dry quickly, I just went back and added the Harvest Orange. So that's what I think I will be doing from now on, is just using the clear bling, and then I can color them in any color I want. You know how I love that bling. So that's it, everybody. This is my finished card for my sister-in-law for her birthday. And you now have seen how I go about designing my cards using my Gypsy. Thanks for watching, everybody. Bye.